Even if you are a small channel, you can absolutely monetize it. Brands are going to be putting more money towards micro-influencers than ever in 2020, and you really have a chance to get to work with some amazing brands and create standout content, even if you're a small creator. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new clicking on for the first time today, my name is Austen Tosone. I am a beauty and fashion content creator based here in New York City, and I work full-time at a tech startup called Jump Rope as their beauty content director. If you watched my video from last week, you know that I have decided to take my YouTube channel in a different direction for 2020, and I really want this to be the place for content creators to come and learn about how to make amazing content and also see examples of what I consider to be high quality content as well. So if that interests you, be sure to subscribe and stick around. I will be uploading new videos every Sunday, kind of alternating right now between beauty product reviews and brand reviews, and also tips for content creators. Today's video is all about a topic that I get asked about pretty much every single day, which is how do you get paid by brands to create content? Can you charge to create content even if you're a small content creator? And, you know, how does this all work? 2019 was a really exciting year for me as a content creator because between my blog, YouTube channel, Instagram, and all of the different sponsored content that I was able to work on, I had my first 5-figure year as a content creator, which has never happened to me before. If you don't know my full backstory, for most of 2019, I was a full-time freelancer and I was a writer and editor as well as a content creator. And I got hired in October of 2019 at Jump Rope, which is now my full-time job. And I'm back to this being my little side hustle passion project. So I'm going to provide percentages for you about where exactly my blog income came from, whether that came from a agency reaching out to me or me applying to a campaign with a brand, or whether that came from a direct relationship with that brand. I will also tell you which categories were most popular for me in terms of fashion and lifestyle and beauty and all of that. And finally, I'll share with you which platforms brands were most interested in me creating sponsored content for, and I think the answers to some of these will surprise you. But yeah, I had my first 5-figure year from just my blog and YouTube channel, sponsored content, and all of that kind of stuff, and I wanted to break down in this video exactly what percentage of that income came from sponsored posts, affiliate income, digital products, etc. I want to share how I got connected to the brands that paid me to create content for them this year. And I also want to share which platforms were the most requested in terms of content creation, and also which platforms are the most valuable in terms of what you can charge. So spoiler alert, you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers or even 10,000 YouTube subscribers to start making money from brands. For context, at the time I'm filming this video, I have about 2,500 YouTube subscribers and about 11,000 Instagram followers, and I've also been blogging since 2012, and I started this YouTube channel in the summer of 2017. I'm so passionate about this that I actually started writing about it recently for HuffPost, and you can read my most recent article, which is all about bloggers with fewer than 5,000 Instagram followers who got paid hundreds of dollars from brands to promote their products. I'll leave a link to that down below so you can go check it out after you watch this video. For financial privacy, I'm not going to reveal exact numbers in this video, but I will give you ballparks and I will give you percentages in terms of what my income actually looked like so that you can figure out if this is something that you can replicate for yourself in your own business. Again, I have about 7.5 years of experience as a blogger now, so this did not happen to me overnight, and last year was the first year that I was a full-time freelancer, and I was really able to dedicate significant time and energy to both pitching brands and creating high-quality content that would attract brands to reach out to me for paid collaborations. If you're interested in my complete pitching strategy, I have a $9 ebook on my website called Write on Pitch, where I cover start to finish how I pitch brands, also how as a magazine editor and a freelance writer I would pitch publications to get published in places like HuffPost, and I also go over my editor approved pitch checklist as well as some tips for negotiating rates. So that's all compact together in a $9 ebook. If that interests you, I will leave a link to it down below. So first things first, I just would like to start off by saying that my blogging income was about 1/3 of my total income for 2019. So as I mentioned, I am a former magazine editor, and I also spent a lot of my time in 2019 writing for publications, doing editing, doing copywriting, and even some social media consulting. So I had a few other income sources in addition to my blog while I was a full-time freelancer. 1/3 of my income coming from my blog is so exciting for me, and whether you think that's a lot or a little, I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat where you want to monetize your blog and you're just trying to figure out exactly exactly where to start, or maybe you've started to monetize, but you're looking to have your blog income match your full-time income, or maybe get to the point where you could leave your full-time job to go blog full-time. This year in 2019, 80% of that revenue came from sponsored posts. So a sponsored post is something you probably see on Instagram every single day, and that is where an influencer or content creator is holding up a product or using a product or talking about a product or experience, and you'll usually see a hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored, meaning that they were paid to talk about that product to their audience. I'm going to go way more in depth about what kind of sponsored campaigns that I worked on later in this video, but I want to make sure I get through the income breakdown first. As far as the other 20%, well, 9% of it came from my digital product, which is the ebook that I mentioned earlier in this video, Right on Pitch. I kept the price point low on purpose because I really wanted it to be accessible, and that's kind of all of the information that I would give to someone if I was having a coffee chat with them and they wanted to pick my brain about pitching someone. And I thought that keeping the price of that at $9 is kind of like, you buy a coffee, you buy me a coffee, you get the information. After I sold 100 copies of the ebook, I mean, that $9 starts to turn into way more than $9. I am definitely hoping to have services and digital products be more a part of my income in the future and not be so reliant on sponsored campaigns, just because then, you know, you're waiting on a brand to pay you, you might not have as much creative control, and brand sponsorships could stop coming in at any moment for any reason, and it's really important to be able to have your own products and services to be bringing in revenue as well. Coming in at around 8.3% is ad revenue, and what I mean by ad revenue is basically what you see here on this YouTube channel. So every time you watch one of my YouTube videos, you usually have to watch an ad before you do, and that is because my channel is monetized on YouTube, meaning I have at least 1,000 subscribers and at least 4,000 hours of watch time. Those are the requirements to apply for monetization on YouTube. And that is not an insignificant portion of my income that just comes from video ads. So thank you to any of you who have watched any of my videos, and if this is even just your first video of mine that you're watching, I know those ads are annoying. I always make them skippable at the beginning though. And it ends up throwing a decent chunk of change into my pocket as well, which is always great. Coming in at just under 3% of my 2019 income is affiliate revenue. And as you guys probably know, you follow some bloggers on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, you see a link that says like to know it or reward style. That is what I mean by affiliate revenue. That is an affiliate program that I am a part of where I can get a link to a product, and if you happen to shop through my link, then I do get a small commission for that product. The only places I really use affiliate links are here on my YouTube channel when I do beauty product reviews or tutorials, or over on my blog, and that is where those links will live the longest anyway. I have a really hard time remembering to tag posts to be shoppable on Instagram. Instagram is already so much work, and since I don't see a huge return from affiliate revenue anyway, it just hasn't been something that I've focused on. I'm sure that if I amped up my interest in it and amped up my effort, I might be able to make some more money from affiliate income, and there are plenty of bloggers who I know who make a really decent amount of their income from affiliates. But if it just doesn't end up being for you, that's okay too. And coming in at a hot less than 1% was my Poshmark. And Poshmark, if you don't know, is just where I upload photos of clothing that I am interested in selling and getting rid of. The price points are always super low. I'm really more interested in getting rid of the stuff than turning a profit on clothing. So I made honestly a couple $100s, I think, from listing things on Poshmark in 2019. So now that you know the percentages of where exactly that income came from, let's go back to the biggest percentage, which was 80% of my income coming from sponsored posts, and break that down a little further. In 2019, I worked on 19 campaigns with 16 unique brands, meaning 3 of those brands were repeat clients. Repeat clients are so important because once they've worked with you once and they see how amazing you are and how you meet the deadlines and how you get the content and you go above and beyond, then they want to hire you back again, and you're likely to make more money from a repeat client and even potentially charge a slightly higher fee because they love the experience with you from the first time around, and now they get to work with you again, and you're going to make it so easy for them, and it's just going to be great, so they don't mind spending the extra money because you're so good. Of those 19 campaigns overall, 10 of those brands were beauty brands, 5 were kind of lifestyle, a little bit of home, a little bit of tech, a little bit of other stuff, and then 4 were fashion. So I'm super, super niche as far as the sponsored content that I choose to create, and you guys didn't really see me create any sponsored food content or any sponsored travel content this year, just because I really believe that my strong suit is fashion and beauty content, and no surprise, that's what brands are coming to me for most of the time. For those 19 campaigns, for 10 of them, I was in contact with the brand directly, meaning either I pitched them a campaign and they accepted my idea, or they reached out to me directly and asked me to participate in a campaign that they were running. The other 9 campaigns were all through influencer networks, and that means that usually they have some kind of way that you can apply for the campaign. I apply for it, and the brand reviews my, engagement rate and my follower count, and they can look at previous examples of my content and decide from there if they'd like to hire me for the campaign. And by the way, this whole video is only about my paid campaigns. I'm not talking about the few gifting campaigns that I did this year. The 4 influencer networks that I got those from were 4, obviously, the Influencer Collective and Social Fabric. So if you're just starting out and you want to monetize but you don't have any direct relationships with brands, I highly recommend looking at these 4 influencer networks and signing up for them so that you can start getting paid offers if they apply to you. And the final thing I wanted to touch on in this video is which platforms I created these sponsored pieces of content for. So keep in mind that some of these were multi-platform campaigns, as in maybe the brand hired me to write a blog post and do an accompanying Instagram post, or maybe the brand hired me to do a YouTube video and an Instagram story to promote it. So from what I was able to count, I had 15 sponsored posts on my Instagram feed, which works out to just about 1 a month. And if I recall, August was a pretty ad-heavy month for me for some reason. I honestly don't know why, because I kind of thought the summer would be a bit slower, as well as December being a decently ad-heavy month as well. But again, I try to be pretty picky about the brands I work with so that every other post from me that you're seeing isn't an ad. I try to keep as much of it as possible my normal organic content. And then I'm assuming that all of these feed posts had at least 3 Instagram stories connected to them, but of course I didn't go back and count every single Instagram story ad that I uploaded this year. I had 7 sponsored blog posts in 2019, so if you think blogging is dead and you think brands don't care about blog posts, I think I just proved that they actually do. If you have readership on your blog and you have loyal people who keep coming back to check out what's going on, that is really valuable for a brand, because that is search engine optimized, much like YouTube content is, and people can keep discovering it again and again, unlike Instagram, which has such a short lifespan for sponsored content. I am I can't even say this without like freaking out. I'm so grateful that I got to work on 6 sponsored YouTube videos last year, which completely blows my mind. And I was recently looking at my 2019 goals from earlier in January of last year, and one of my goals was to do 1 sponsored video on YouTube, and the fact that I was able to do 6 is just absolutely mind-blowing. It just further confirms that what I'm doing here on YouTube is resonating with people, and it makes me so grateful. And again, at the time I'm recording this, I have about 2,500 YouTube subscribers, so even if you are a small channel, you can absolutely monetize it. Brands are going to be putting more money towards micro-influencers than ever in 2020, and you really have a chance to get to work with some amazing brands and create standout content, even if you're a small creator. Of those 6 YouTube videos, 3 of them were dedicated, meaning the full video was sponsored by a brand, which of course I would charge a little more for. And then 3 of those were non-dedicated mentions, meaning that I spent about 2 to 3 minutes of a video talking about one specific product or one specific brand. And that, of course, I charge less for it than a fully dedicated YouTube video. That's a great way to initiate paid content on YouTube. If a brand doesn't want to spend, what it takes to get a dedicated video, maybe they're interested in a non-dedicated mention so that they can kind of get a feel for how your audience is going to respond to it, and they don't necessarily pay the full rate for what you would charge for a dedicated YouTube video. And I had a handful of Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest posts, but I honestly can't remember. I can remember exactly 1 Facebook post off the top of my head, and that's pretty much it. There might have been a tweet, and I think there was a pin. My prediction for 2020 is that TikTok will be added into this mix as a place that brands are looking to hire out influencers for creating content for them. So if you're not already on TikTok, first of all, at least just go grab your username before someone else takes it. And then second of all, think about easy ways that you can start filming TikTok content. I really recommend filming in the app, spending about an hour just scrolling through the app to get a feel for what the videos look like, and, you know, create content that maybe plays off of some of the trends, but that also feels natural to you, so that if a brand does want to come and hire you, it's not just a video of you, you know, dancing to Renegade, Renegade, and that you know that you can actually bring value back to that brand. All right, you guys, once again, I've been talking for quite a while now, so for those of you who are still with me, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about anything I spoke about today, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below, or if you have a more specific question, you can always DM me on Instagram. I always do my best to get back to everyone's DMs, and I hope that I can, you know, continue to provide value for you guys and be a kind of a champion for micro influencers who want to get paid and aren't sure if they're big enough or how they can actually start to monetize their channels and their blogs and their Instagram accounts. This is the year of 2020. We have more power than ever as bloggers, influencers, content creators, whatever you want to call us, and we should absolutely take advantage of it and get ourselves paid. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you hit that red subscribe button and stick around. Feel free to also turn on the notification bell to get notified every time I upload a video, which is now every Sunday. That is my new upload day. Last thing, if you're interested in seeing how I got this makeup look that I've got on right now, my next video is going to be a full brand review of one brand, so be sure to check back next Sunday to see what brand it was and what I think of all of the products. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Bye!